What's going on, guys? We're back again for another streaming session. Let's kind of get into it today, right? Let's get into it. I'm gonna go over, where I made money today, kind of my thoughts going into tomorrow, and then of course, setups. Anything else we see? I'm definitely seeing some names that stuck out to me pre-market and, proved otherwise. Just proved they had the strength. I saw them pre-market, and they really performed today. So we're gonna go over those names as well. Right now, we're just looking at futures. Futures look like they dipped a little bit, but now they're just kind of pushing right back up, filling that gap. Just crazy action. And we're going to get straight into it right now. So buckle up, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, put on that Snuggie, and let's get it going, right? Let's get it going. All right. So first things first, right? My trades of the day, how I made money today. I was looking at pre-market, right? I'm looking around pre-market. We're gapping down, and the gap down wasn't as bad as we thought, right? Q only came down to 591, 590. We saw probably a pretty sharp reversal by the time like our overnight actually opened up, right? In that 4 a.m. Eastern time. So Q really just opened up in 591 and just kind of started grinding a little bit higher right before open. And that's what I was telling the team pre-market. Let's be careful with puts. I just made like a quick little trend line. It was like, if we break this trend line, then, puts will work kind of near open, depending on what they do at open. Are they going to aggressively step in? Buyers would need to aggressively step in to start running us into that gap. If they don't, puts are likely going to work. So one thing I realized was SPY was a lot weaker. And this is the money that we made first at open was this red 1 hour candle on SPY. SPY opened up under 667, 666 zone right there at the top. It couldn't clear it. It didn't open up under it. If it opened up above it, likely we're going to get that move straight into the gap, but it didn't. So we opened up under it. It rejected, came down. As it started coming down, we broke that 665 level. That's where we took the puts for a ride to 663, 662. Lottos ended up working. They went over $70, $80 a contract, which is fine. We'll take that win. I decided to kind of just go a little bit lighter, take the win. And if we kind of hold and do nothing, at least we got that win. But one thing I was telling the team was we have these daily gaps and we're not far off from them at all. Be ready for them to close, for them to, eat this and close it up. And as you can see, the price action, they did exactly that. Now, one thing I was looking at here is, QQ. I was looking at the 600 strike at like $100. They win a little bit less, but as we got to like right here is where I started, we start eating the gap. It was very slow, but it ended up eating that gap and the rest into that move. I was eyeing the 600 ones and the 600 calls, and I actually took those on live. It wasn't an official alert, but it was an alert for the live trading members. So any members that were on or the top members, they got this as well. Those calls went for me, from $100 to 180, 190, almost 100%. And I was happy with that, especially if we kind of just, went a little bit higher, but, ranged. And then of course you see, the Trump comments and how we blasted out here. Now, again, bulls want to defend 600 level. Notice where we actually blasted off. It was right at that 600 level, really just blasted off there. So this was just one of those times where you had to be peeled to the screen a little bit. Know that Trump's going to be saying something and see how the market reacts and then jump on it, right? I try and tell this to my members, when the getting is good, you need to go for it. You need to press. You need to be, slamming those calls or slamming those puts, whatever, in that move, and just know that, the move you're looking for needs to happen right here, right now. Go for it. And there's plenty of times where I'm like, press. You don't need me to call out a strike. You don't need my exact position right now. Press. Anything will do right now. Take it. And so I try and tell that to my team as well. These contracts went from, I saw them go from $100 where I was eyeing them and taking them over 700, so over 1,000%. It was, absolutely crazy. I think they dipped right here to like 60, 70 and then went 1,000%. So crazy. Some of the names that I saw pre-market that I was eyeing pre-market was NVIDIA and Google. They're showing the most strength. And we actually did play some NVIDIA calls today as we got this move above 178, rocketed to 180 plus, banked on the calls, or, took a decent win on the calls, and then ended up rocketing to the 182 zone right up there, which was my target. 180, 181 was kind of my midday target, but ultimate target 182, 183. Did exactly that. Those contracts did well. Google was a little bit stronger here as far as the hourly. Let's look on the 4 hour here. Very nice channel here. Ended up opening up at that 193, bottom of the channel, overnight held, just blasted. And, this was a name that, I was watching and it pushed up to that almost to that 300 level. It was already up. I didn't know if it would keep going from there. From there, that hourly opened up above that level and it blasted even higher. Again, this is where Q's taken off, everything's taken off. So, another name. Again, I tell this to the team, these look for the strength, right? If NVIDIA and Google were already showing strength and we see a blast of QEQ or SPY, then you want to turn, sure, you can bang off SPY and QQ, but you want to turn to some of those names that are already, strong and press them. And so this was a good one right here. I will be watching this going into maybe tomorrow if we can see continuation. I like Google here. The only reason I do like it, you can see on the 4 hour, there's a small gap at the 308. A little bit bigger on the hourly, but that's probably what I'm kind of looking for here. It'll be a clean open or a clean move above the supply zone, downtrend breakout, eat the gap at 308. So that's already a guaranteed $2 move. And then probably 310. So that's $4. And then back to 312, 313 for a possible $6 to $7 move right there. I know I can make some money off that. So that's something I'm going to be watching. If you're looking for a play, that's something you need to be kind of looking out for. So keep an eye on that as well. Keep an eye on that. So we're staying green here. We are staying green. And we're starting the week off very strong here, which is awesome. Love that. And we're just kind of, picking and choosing, sticking and moving. That's really what we're looking for here. Really, that's about it. Now, what I expect going into tomorrow, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky, right? A little bit tricky. And why do I say that? Because usually, okay, well, CPI is Wednesday, right? We have inflation data. Like the market's going to be waiting for that. We did clear Friday's high. We kind of got back to, Thursday's kind of area range. I would assume tomorrow we are not going to break those highs. We're not going to break out. And we're actually just going to stay in this range that we kind of created today. All right here. Now, I don't know if we'll visit those lows. We could, but this is a pretty good range. We can definitely make some money for tomorrow. Awesome. Even if it's just a range day. So likely anytime we've seen something like this, they just kind of pull it into range. So one sweet spot I'll be looking at to see if Q ends up coming right back down to that 600 level as a magnet, just to retest it. So, and if that's the case, under 605, under 606 over here, maybe under 601.94 if you really want to play it safe, puts working for the move right back down in that range. Or again, we're flagging here. If we break above today's high tomorrow, then we know it will be continuation. We will run to 611 plus, possibly 615, possibly. So it's very easy. Either we're breaking weekly highs or we're just coming back down in range. And if that's the case, then you know which one's going to work the most, right? We'll know it open. We'll definitely know it open. Either they're going to aggressively step it up and we break out, or we don't and we come back right down in a range. Again, very easy for QQ. And I've been loving Q a little bit more here than SPY just because. But SPY, not too bad. One thing I want to highlight on SPY, though, this is crazy. If you're looking at my charts here, let's look at the overnight lows which is right here. And I called this out last night on the stream. And then let's look at the highs here where we completely wicked. Those two levels right here. What levels are those? Purple levels. You don't even have to look at the actual level. Look at the level or the level color, which is purple levels. Purple levels for me is when I see levels on the tape just light up on both sides, meaning calls and buyers and sellers agree at one price. When they agree at one price, it's like the most, I would say, just tension area that is going to either explode us up out of it like a trampoline or a really hard ceiling. Notice where we bounced that overnight and then how we exploded up to the next level. Notice we slapped that and we kind of rejected there. I mean, not kind of, I mean, we did. We're at 676 overnight here. We hit 679.83, which was that purple level. It makes a lot of sense that if we slap that, we come back into range. Now, tomorrow, same thing. If we break that level tomorrow for the upside, then know that we're going to run to 682, possibly 685. Good clean move right there. If not, then we know puts are going to work, under 674, probably back down to 672, 669, 68, just kind of this area. A little bit of tighter range, but you're definitely going to make some money. Just kind of sticking to levels and just knowing, seeing that as well. So that's pretty much how I'm making money in this market, sticking and moving here. Taking the wins a little bit faster on certain days, and then when it's time to press and you see just a monster move like this, then go for it. Go. Don't even think twice. Slam 10 contracts, slam 20 contracts, slam 50 contracts, jam it, and just know that you're going to get that, pretty explosive move as it's unwinding. I mean, at any point you could have entered here and you would have made money. As long as you didn't enter at the complete top, you would have made money. At any point you jumped in, you would be all right. Especially, knowing levels and things like that. So let's keep an eye on that as well. Amazon, not too much. Just it did react with the market there. Not too much there. Apple, a little bit of a flow I saw come in, but, a little bit of downtrend breakout. Not really something I'm watching. AMD was also showing some strength here. Look at this. So we opened up at 190, 189 area. It wicked a little bit, but pushed out to 193. Notice it did hit a purple level. Purple level acted as a springboard there and rocketed, to that 203, 201. So a good 7, 8, 9, almost $10 move just off that purple level on the whole day, like over $12 move. So I like that. Semi's showing a little bit of strength here. Not too bad. Not something I'm probably going to be looking at going into tomorrow, but I like it. TSM did bounce at demand almost perfectly here at my zone here. It looks like overnight it held and then again retested at open for that bounce, just push out and run. We can see that right there. Let me fill that in. You can see right there at open, we dipped into that range right here on this candle, and then buyers really got active there. And we did it. Again, you can see, where it kind of gapped down overnight there, held, and then again did that and then ran from there. Even though these contracts kind of juice, you can play some shares, you can play. I do like the gap fills up here. So, I might be looking at something like this for a possible kind of gap fill. I'm going to put these levels right here as the gap fill. And usually when I do that, I just mark them orange as a gap fill. So I know they're a gap fill. Another one right there at 359. Yeah, it looks pretty good here. So we'll see if this is an official downtrend breakout, but I do love, seeing downtrend breakouts into demands like this. Like beautiful. Let's see. It looks a little bit like a downtrend breakout, but it's not confirmed yet on the 4 hour. It is on the hourly, I would assume. Yeah. So we'll see if this ends up magneting up 360, 363, 363, 368. That would be my complete target, 368.40. Contracts don't look, contracts do look a little crazy. 360, I would have to go, 365s, and there's still a little juice on the weeklies, but not too far off. Still good work. I am watching this, so let me put some alerts just in case. If I have to go a lot closer, then I will. And, closer strike, and then I will. And I will sacrifice a little bit of money for, expensive premiums, but just know that it's going to work. So pretty cool stuff there. We'll see what that does, but pretty good setups. IWM, let's take a look at that real quick. IWM held here. I saw that we dropped into these bands, and this was something I was watching. RioCap AI called this out pretty perfectly right before this explosion. It called it out pretty nicely right on that, candle, and just exploded up. And I did play some IWM calls as well on the move up into this area. I actually played it down here at 247, ripped it like 249, took the win right there, and just kind of sat back. And then, I saw the RioCap AI alerted calls. I was like, interesting. I don't really see the move, but interesting because the gap's already, filled basically. And then it exploded. So I was like, all right, never again will I question RioCap AI. So pretty cool stuff there. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so good wins for us to start the week already. So I love seeing members post gains, things like that. We're sticking and moving, and that's what we're going to be doing here. Not too many super great setups, but I do see some good setups going in tomorrow. So there's no reason not to win tomorrow. So far, a little bit of holding here to say we flag, we break. If we do get that breakout tomorrow, then no problem. We're going to see some explosions. And you already know I'm king of the open. I'll be right there slamming one of them for the move up, and absolutely, take the money and run if we needed to. So, bank on that and go from there. So pretty cool stuff right there. Pretty cool stuff. Let's take a look. Oh, also, so oil was a huge thing, right? Oil. They opened up green. We gapped up, sure. But one thing I was looking for here is, are they going to do, the classic like kind of gap fill, right? So we got that move on Exxon to 154, 153. And from there, I was like, likely they're just going to come right back down with it because Trump is just going to be, just making so many comments about, bringing oil down and things like that. So, and that's what he did. So really good gap fill in a lot of these names. I wasn't looking to slam any dips on this or, look at this. It didn't break out on a lot of these names. I did see Chevron contracts moving pretty interesting, but you can see that it is down. None of this really triggered for me to want to go. I want to see what still happens here, and I will still kind of keep an eye on this. But take the win, stick and move, keep it going. No need to press until we really see something else. So also Intel not too bad above 46.50. I want to see if we end up breaking out here. We are on a higher time frame kind of downtrend here, but if we break that, then we should magnet back to 47.24 plus. And we can confirm real quick though, just in case we can confirm on the volume profile, what is, yeah. And if we break that 46, they might fight it a little bit at that 46 level, but clean move to 48 should be pretty easy if we can get that move. So that's something I will be watching. Cheap contracts on Intel. I love when this thing moves and when it goes, because it usually just goes. So I will be watching for that, and it pays. Those contracts pay. They're dirt cheap, and they move pretty nice with the stock. So that's something I really like. Something that helps out a lot. Is some of these names with the options just moving nicely with it. I hate being in option chains or options where maybe the spread's a little wide. Maybe it's not moving the way it should. Contracts aren't getting priced the way they should. I hate that, but all good. All good. So pretty cool stuff. One thing I was talking to one of my members about, one of my top members, was SpyX, right? So he trades SpyX. I trade SpyX here and there, but it's not something I looked for or go to. One strategy, and if you're into SpyX, one strategy about SpyX that I do love is these gap fills. These gap fills. SpyX creates gaps every single day. Every single day. Notice where SpyX ran to today. Notice how we closed that Friday's gap. Notice today, here's this gap for today, right? So what are you looking for when it comes to SpyX? Me personally, I'm looking for these gaps to fill. That's where I'm playing it, if anything. If we see a sharp knife down, it's always usually met with a dry up candle or a green candle on that next hourly and pushes it right back up. That's another thing, but again, if you really trying to lock in with SpyX, just look at these gap fills that they create, and likely they kind of fill it. If not same day, the next day. And you can kind of see it right here as well on this day. So these are the last 4 days on it. Pretty interesting for you gap people that want to play SpyX with gap fills and stuff. It's and it's, I don't know, like, especially if you get a double one, it really moves. So again, contract selection is easier said than done. This is easier said than done. I can say, oh, all you gotta do is fill the gap, go for it. What are you doing? Easier said than done when you're playing SpyX, because the second you get in some contracts, you're already up or down 20%, 30%. And then you're either having a heart attack or you're like, this is the easiest thing. Why am I not trading this nonstop? Again, it's just one of those, you got to time it. And SpyX, personally, for me, is something you should be playing near close as the kind of the end of the day thing. So for me, I'm king of the open. I already made my money. I'm sitting back. It's very rare that I see the close unless I'm swinging something. I am watching, of course, but it's very rare that I play the close unless I'm swinging something into the next day or into the week or whatever the case may be. So it's very rare that I'm like, all right, let's touch SpyX. Now I do it. It's just I'm not doing it every single day. I got to rack up, some greens, some wins, and then when I got some money to play, if I got 500, 1,000, or whatever to throw, then I'll go for it. If that just goes to zero, then I'm not like completely fucked on the week, right? So you don't want to do that to yourself. So that's one strategy that I do. Also, if you do want to play at the end of the day, and I used to do this as well, is make my money and I'm up, say, 1,200 on the day. Then I'm touching just a few contracts on SpyX at the end of the day. 300, 200, 300, 400 at most. So if those go red completely to zero and I lose, I'm still green on the day, right? Because there's times where I make $400 or $500 and then I go in with $400 or $500 on SpyX and then I lose 90% of it fast. And then, I'm like, damn, well, I only made $100 today, all that for nothing, or $50, or I'm break even on the day when all I had to do was just do nothing, So that's why I'm saying do less. And so if you're into playing SpyX, maybe consider, doing less. No, maybe consider, playing those strategies that I kind of pointed out, gap fills, things like that. So definitely keep that in mind. Microsoft going a little bit green here overnight. You know what? Microsoft, man, we have that huge gap up there. I'm not really trying to touch this anymore. We banked on this last week, lost on Friday with this. It tried breaking out, a little bit of a fake out. It was a lotto. So I just kept that kind of close to the chest. It tried pushing down. I can show you how it went. This was Friday right here. It opened up and pushed out. I was just late to the party. I banked on something, turned around. I was like, all right, let's go for Microsoft. And then no continuation. Of course, it was Friday. It was very rangy that day anyways. No business to be pressing. So we'll see kind of what I guess this does here. Kind of broke uptrend that I was kind of having here. Maybe it tries to do something. We'll see. But I will have alerts just in case it does. So we will keep an eye on that. But anyway, staying green out here, killing it, man. Go check it out. I posted my P&L a million times already this week, or I tweeted it out already this week. Today. So you want to go look at my daily, it's there. You want to go look at my weekly, it's there. Transparent as much as I can be. Giving out plays. Last free play I gave out was Amazon went over 1,000% last week. All right. So I try and give y'all a little bit of some insight of what I do. I try and trade live free for you guys. But I can't be giving away everything because, I give it all to my members. We're in the trenches together. I trade live Monday through Wednesday, sometimes Fridays and Thursdays. I did last Friday. I might do it again, maybe this Friday. We'll see, depending on the price action. So money to be made Monday through Wednesday for sure. Price action gets a little weird Thursdays and Fridays. So Wednesday, it's going to be CPI. So if we see some good reactions off that, then Wednesday's going to be a banger. Today was decently a banger, and then tomorrow should be a banger of range if we see range. If we see a breakout, then of course another banger. But either way, up or down, I'm very confident in this setup, and we're going to be making some decent money tomorrow. Then we'll sit back for some CPI, and we'll go from there. See what happens on that. But we're staying green, killing it, and that's it. This type of environment right here is going to prove, right, who can survive and who can't. And I don't mean people that are like, I don't mean traders that are like just, starting out or maybe a year or two into this. I'm talking about people that think they know stuff, that think they can swing around and call things out, right? Because again, you see all those big accounts. I don't know who that guy was that swung 150 or 190K of calls into Monday. And all the big FinTwit Twitters were just talking mad shit about him, or whoever that is. Could be a troll account. I don't even know. um, because they swung calls. But again, look how dumb they look, because we not only held and rocketed, that person was up 50K by the end of the day, 60K, and they deactivated their Twitter, and now they're right back. I think that's hilarious. But again, that's just how the market goes. Like, you're trying to celebrate other people's downfall, you're going to look dumb in the process. I'm telling you. So enough trying to focus on other people, focus on yourself, focus on your levels, focus on your process, focus on all that. And I promise you, you're going to be great. Surround yourself with greatness, surround yourself with people that are doing great things, and watch it rub off. Like, it's just that simple. And that's what I love to do. Surround myself with members and people that just want to win and, get what we got going on, just perfect it and down to a science. And that's what I love doing. That's what I love doing. So I was a little bit salty about, even though, we won pretty well, I was a little bit salty about Google, because Google, I mean, this is the explosions we look for. This is the moves we look for. Did I trust upside today? No, I didn't. The buyers did not show up until after the gap was filled, and then, Trump saying something, right? For Q, it took forever to fill that gap fill. It took forever. I mean, we pushed here. I mean, on the hourly, we did it in an hour, really. 2 hours. First hour took forever. We wicked all the way back down. Second hour opened up and did it. Took that hour. Again, most times we're just used to the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes of them closing it. Like, they come in pretty aggressive. Like, we see something like this, just, absolutely aggressive. Even though, yeah, I guess we did kind of see that on that hourly, but, again, it was very slow. This hourly took very slow. We can look at it on the 15, kind of see what I mean here. And you know what? Looking at this, it doesn't even look slow. But in the moment, it felt very slow. Like, I was right here with those 600 calls. And, like, even this move up right here, like, it worked, got my gain. And I was like, it's taking so long. Like, and then we slowly grinded up. It worked, sure. And then, we really love to see something like this where, it moves up, aggressively. No need. When you're playing options, you need to aggressively see a move, and really get that gain, that delta spike, and, love life behind it. But I didn't feel like messing around with lottos like that. Again, once we see that, buyers are really stepping in, and the getting is good, then, jump in, go for it. No need to wait, no need to mess around, no need to do anything. Just go for it. So that's the best part about it. Absolutely. Good setups for tomorrow. Let's see what bangs. Q's only down 90 cents here, and SPY is only down $1.37. SPY is lagging a little bit. I think I'm going to be avoiding SPY just a little bit, unless it's a gap fill or something like that. Again, we're not too far off from all-time highs. It's not too much in the picture anymore down here. But again, if we end up kind of pushing and getting above 680 for SPY, bulls are right back in control. I told you guys, Q for SPY above 680, for Q above 600. And notice, that 600 level just keeps defending for the life of it. Like, they are just defending this for the life of them. It's absolutely insane. But again, good levels to mark and, have there, and just know that, again, this is a very important level. Anytime we're getting away from it, just know that they're going to try and fight their way back to it, whether it's up or down. It's always the bears trying to bring us right back down to it, or the bulls trying to bring us right back up to it or away from it. Regardless, they're fighting it up. So that's definitely a level you need to be keeping an eye on for sure. What up, Drew? What up? So yeah, pretty good stuff. We're staying green today. Staying green. To be honest, other than the SPY puts at open for that knife, or that rejection, right, of 666, 667, that dropped all the way to 663. We went zone to zone. That was easy for us. From there, I sat back and was like, likely it's going to be calls after this. Like, we're just going to be looking for calls. I know it's going to be low volume. No real buyers are stepping in right now, but that doesn't mean we're not going to go back up. And be ready for when they fill this gap. Be ready. Like, that was mainly it. Of course, we saw NVIDIA, we played NVIDIA, good move as well. Google was absolutely, ripping faces there on the daily. Had a really good day. So we had some good stuff, picking our shots, and just kind of staying a little bit more patient, and then just winning. That's it. So staying green, looking for that, staying it just like that. So awesome stuff here, guys. Awesome stuff. Hopefully you guys are staying green out there. Hopefully you guys are, starting the week off strong. Let me know right now in chat if y'all got any questions about anything. Let me know what maybe what y'all think is gonna happen with CPI, because I'm a little bamboozled now. I'm confused. Like, if I don't know, we push back into range. We're holding some of these major levels. CPI is coming out. No way CPI is going to be anywhere good. No way that they're going to try and let let those numbers be terrible. I don't know, because we saw oil jump, and then Trump was freaking out, right? So who's freaking out. He's made at least three comments already, three major comments in the past 24 hours about oil coming down. He was like, I'm bringing it down, or don't worry, it's just a temporary spike. Don't worry, it's not. It's coming down, or we got oil reserves. Like, it was just like, dude, let it go for at least 2 days, 3 days, like a week. Couldn't even do that. So they're really trying to hold this up. We'll take that as a sign. Q staying above 600. Let's see if SPY can get back above 680. From there, we'll see. Other than that, individual names we will be keeping an eye on and ready for the explosion up and or down. We catch it every single time, baby. At open, that's how I do things. King of the open. We make our money, sitting back. So doing our thing. All right, that should be good. I think I covered everything. Just wanted to hop on here kind of quick and talk about the wins today, my thoughts. And like I said, I was telling you guys last night on stream, like, we gapped down. That gap is going to be there. That's a guaranteed win. Sometimes we feel it same day. Sometimes it's the next day, whatever the case may be. Today was the same day. Again, massive win here. So keep an eye on maybe daily gaps. Keep an eye on just gaps in general. Keep an eye on that. If you're new, keep following to learn more little tips and tricks that I'd be giving out. And how a profitable trader like me is just killing it, like just staying green. I wouldn't even say I'm killing it. I'm just winning. Like, I'm just staying consistent. Like, I wouldn't say like, oh, dude, I'm out here, I'm making, $500,000 in each trade. No, I have a system down, right? And making, 10% of 10K, make, 1,000 to 2,000, 20%, making a couple thousand a day is where I like to be at. I'd like to be able to, if I wanted to, full pour 10K. And if I lose it, it's not the end of the world, but I do like to consistently win 10 to 20%, with not even my full pour, but I mean, throwing in a little bit of size and making 10, 20, 30% on my portfolio or whatever, and make $1,000, $2,000, and do that consistently is just going to keep racking up more and more. $200, $100. You don't understand how much that changes your life. $100 a day. Change your life. That's $500 a week. That's $2K a month. Tell me your life isn't going to change with $2K a month. And don't try and act rich. Everyone wants to act. No, 2K. Yes, 2K is going to change. It's going to change something. I'm not saying you're living in a castle and you're Scrooge McDuck backstroking in coins and gold. No, I'm just saying, like, it's gonna what I'm saying? It's gonna help. It's gonna improve. It's gonna go. Start with just that. Right. If you're looking for consistency, that's what you need to be looking for. 100 a day, an extra 2K a month, 200 a day, an extra 4K a month, whatever. And it's just slowly compounds like that. You stay consistent 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks, boom, things start moving and grooving. And especially if you're focused on winning, you start looking back and you're like, damn, I've been doing good. I've been consistent, right? It's March. So we're 3 months into this. Again, the money stacks up. It will go. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $50 a day. I don't care what it is a day. That's going to stack up, and it's going to help you, and it's going to, just bring more excitement into, what you're doing, to where you can lock in and stay consistent. So that's it. One thing I try and pride myself on is just being consistent. I don't see anybody else on Twitter getting real consistent with, posting their daily P&Ls every single day. I'm just want to show y'all you can be consistent. All you need is moments in the market. You don't need the whole day move. You need moments in the market to win, make your money, sit back, do your thing, right? That's exactly what what I do, what I look for. Basic needs, hell yeah. And that's how I kind of really started when I started trading. I was like, look, if I can make $100 a month, it's gonna change my life. It's gonna change my life. I was like, it's gonna change my life. This is when I first started trading, 10 years ago, whatever. It's going to change my life. It can replace this bill, right? So we start like, all right, I made this much today, can replace that bill. I can pay that bill. I can pay that bill. Okay. And your other income, right? I would hope you have, maybe another job or your job or like something like that, where you can also, do. And, now you have all that to spend on whatever, or save or do whatever. That's the whole point of trading. The trading isn't the end all thing. It's work it into your lifestyle, work it into your system, work it into your, daily lineup of things that you got to do, because you do that, then you're stacking the wins everywhere. You're stacking the wins everywhere, and you're moving and grooving. And of course, it all accumulates at the end of the year, end of the month, end of whatever. And you'd be shocked how much your life definitely improves by staying consistent with the trading. And it all starts, where does that start? All right. Well, all that starts is just showing up every single day, right? Having enough time to wake up, be watching pre-market, clock in with me, listen to my lives, right? I wake up and I go over my pre-market analysis with my team, right? I'm waking up, I'm like, all right, guys, this is what I'm seeing. This is what's happening. This is what I think, might happen. This is what maybe could happen if we go here. We're sticking to the game plans. This is what I'm seeing that, is piquing my interest. And then we're going to go for it from there, right? And then I'm like, all right, market open. All right, I'm looking at this, looking at that. And contract's not really moving for this name. And this name's moving, but the contracts aren't moving with it. All right, Q's hitting the gap. All right, let's slam some calls here. Let's do this. Let's ride. Boom, let's win. And it's, it's something that simple as, tuning in with me, winning with me, and then getting on with your day. Nothing better than that. I'm telling you, nothing better than that. Making your money, especially being done 30 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes, king of the open, baby, being just done with me and just like moving on, right? No need to FOMO, no need to say, hey, I maybe I could have made another 100%. Maybe I could have another 50%. Maybe I could have another $200, whatever. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's all right. It's okay. But just focus. Just lock in and focus. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the setup. The money comes flowing in once you focus on the setup. I promise you. By the end of the week, you go look at how much money you made, and you're like, I don't even believe that. I was so focused on the trades. I can't believe I made this much. Like the money was just, I was blind to into the end of the week, right? So that's the cool stuff about it. Q's only down about 60 cents here. We're holding again tomorrow. If we don't break out from today's highs, it's going to be puts right back down. And then CPI Wednesday, big news. Should be very easy. So let me know if y'all need anything. Get my trades, wap.com/Rio Capital. Become a member. I'm trading live for all members. If you want my usual live tradings, become a top member. From there, you get everything a member gets, one-on-one sessions with me like this, and, my live trading and everything like that. Access to RioCap AI, everything. So join up. Use code March. I don't know if there's any more codes left for that, but try it. Maybe there is. I haven't really checked, but should be all good. Anyways, let me know if y'all need anything done for this streaming session. We got big money to make tomorrow. We already started off the week great, and we're going to stay green, baby. If you want to learn more, ricocap.com, go check that out. If you want to go look at my weekly P&L, it's pinned under my tweets on x.com. Go search Rio Capital. You'll see it. All right. Anyways, appreciate y'all showing up, guys. Have a good rest of y'all's evening. Get some rest, hydrate, and I'll see you guys out there. Good start to the week, and let's keep it that way. We're going to stay green, stay Rio Cap green, and, let's do this. Lock in, people.